it's very interesting. Also, I know we're coming close to time. The opposite of how we live lives is the greatest defect that we have. For an example, when we're in hostility or in a situation that is not so for us, our ego acts up because it's resisting because we want it to be our way and this and this. But what we have to understand is our relationships are the greatest teachers, and they're often reflecting to us that part of self that needs to be risen into the light to then let go of. And there's a teaching in that. So discernment is really powerful. And for an example, when I started to understand this game of life, if you want to call it, and I used to have a hostile moment or a moment of confliction, I would surrender my ego and say, okay, you're going to step aside for now. Now I really, truly want to listen to what this person is going on a rant about, because there is truth in what that person is, but it's reflecting me. It's that what is happening right now is that's the part of me that's getting really loud, that needs to be heard, discerned, and to be released and loved, because we ultimately create all the personalities of ourselves, whether they're good or bad, we create them. So I started to get into this, and I actually saw it as a game. Like, when it would come at me, I'm like, okay, right, here we go. Put on my spiritual gloves and my, higher governance. Ego step back, and I'd be like, okay, what is this? What is happening right now? And you honestly can feel that part of yourself transcend the more you do it. And the more resistance we have to people around us, the more resistance we have to ourselves. Love thy neighbor is in every form of Sanskrit and every form of sacred doctrine that you can imagine in different wording. But love thy neighbor because you're actually loving yourself. And the more we can transcend through love and compassion, we're ultimately loving that greater part of ourselves. And this becomes that resonance that we're trying to tune into. It's the art of doing and the art of being human where we're transcending, not the art of escapism. It's through the everyday actions that we take that we have to be so completely aware of in our presence that becomes that transcendence. Yeah. Again, all easy, but not done.
No. And that's the thing. It is simple. And you beckoned on this earlier that we overcomplicate things. We keep things very, chaotic in a sense. And I saw a post by Ryan Holiday today. Him and his wife, he's the author, him and his wife talk about a mantra every year that they go through. And their mantra this year was less screen time, less, saying yes to things, less just simplify life, enjoy life, connect with nature, have time. I see it. And you know this because it was talked about in the book. I don't have time. It's the constant pings. It's the text from work, as you put it in the book. It's everything, not being able to connect with your own children, to listen, because we're always in a rush. We're always running to something that we don't actually have time to sit down and ask ourselves a simple question of, what do I need today? Let me connect with divinity.